This podcast is brought to you by Uncle Bentley and Aunt Connie. Enough with the mushy-gushy, cheeky-pinchy, look how much you've grown nonsense. You don't want that in an aunt and uncle. And who can blame you? That's why Uncle Bentley and Aunt Connie specialize in treating their nephews like actual people, not some freakish, oversized, perpetual toddlers. No more patronizing pats on the head, half-assed small talk, and eternal relegation to the kids' table. With the Uncle Bentley and Aunt Connie treatment, you'll feel free to be your badass self, learning by example as they show off their badass selves themselves. Uncle Bentley and Aunt Connie. Out with the half-assing, in with the badassing.
Welcome to Little, Middle, and Biggle. I'm your middle brother, Joshua.
I'm your exhausted brother, Andrew.
And I'm your biggle brother, Noah.
And we are the ones who will try our best to answer the little, middle, and biggle questions we all have in life. So Andrew, fresh off of his solo flight down to Lubbock and over to Clovis and back to Amarillo, he will be starting us off with our little question.
Okay, I just want to say I chickened out on the Clovis landing because the guy started talking to me and told me to change to this frequency that I didn't know and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I just said, yeah, never mind. I'll just go back to Amarillo.
You know, I was wondering about that because it looked like on your flight path, there was like this weird jump up north. Yeah.
Oh, that was, yeah, because he told me, so normally the control tower will give you a number that you put into this little radio that tells them where you are. And so he told me to start putting in the number that you just do when you're not talking to the control tower. So I got confused and I put that in, and then he was like, go to this different frequency, and I couldn't figure that frequency out. So then I just said, never mind. And so he gave me a new code to put in.
Wow.
Yep.
Weird.
So is this going to be like you're never going to be able to fly into Clovis again because you're just so ashamed? Like whenever I go to a restaurant and they say, enjoy your meal, and I say, you too, and then I think I'm never coming back.
You can just like, all right, I can never come back.
You will never see my face in this establishment again.
You know, I mean, similar to that, I guess, but I think they probably hear so many voices every day, they will not remember mine.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They don't have a face to put with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably applies to restaurants too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I wish I could have your guys' confidence. Okay. Anyway, so Andrew,
Yes.
Please, little question. Go for it.
My little question after this burp
Oh.
is...
Wait, let me get the editing pad.
You don't want to leave
Do you
the
need
burp
to
in?
edit out the burp?
Yes, I need to edit out the burp.
No, leave the burp in.
Okay, you know, if these are going to go public...
Oh, wait, you're right. If these are going to... No, why am I getting out the editing pad? You go for it, Andrew.
Yeah.
So, little question.
Okay, little question. What is you guys' relationship with caffeine? Mine is addiction.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I feel like I kind of knew that, given that you just said to me a couple days ago, yeah, on Saturday I had like 4 cups of coffee, so my tolerance is a little high right now.
As I proceeded to drink a cup of coffee with espresso at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And are now drinking a Dr.
How do you do
Pepper.
that?
I
so
do
much
not
coffee.
know. It is mind-blowing to me. But anyway, so this is making me think. So even though I accidentally deleted all of my little, middle, big old potential questions, I did have one that was something along the lines of, like, caffeine. Is it brain fuel for geniuses, or is it the opiate of the masses? Yeah, so for me, I'll answer both questions, both mine and Andrew's. Andrew, I'm just hijacking your question here.
No, that's okay.
So I think for me, I am definitely addicted, but not irrevocably so at this point in my life. There definitely was a point when I was just hopeless. I tried... So I maxed out at, I think, 6 shots of espresso a day. And that was like baseline.
Wow.
And I didn't even drink regular coffee because I had to drink like way too much. An espresso just tastes better in my opinion. So yeah, and I tried to quit cold turkey. I did quit cold turkey actually when we went to the cabin because I thought, I won't be going to CrossFit even though I will be working out. And I'm so zen at the cabin. Maybe I won't need coffee. And so I just quit cold turkey and I was miserable. Oh gosh, I just remember everything irritated me. And it was after it may have been the first year that I went out there with Sarah, or that Sarah came out with us, and everything just grated on me that she did, and even when we were like in our honeymoon phase. So that was just like a testament to how addicted I was.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. How do you think you would fare, Andrew, if you just quit cold turkey today?
I think it'd be pretty similar to that. I don't know what like a nicotine or alcohol buzz feels like, but how I feel after drinking an adequate amount of caffeine is what I imagine it to feel like. Because I'm just like, it's like there's a moment about 30 minutes after I drink the coffee where I just feel a heightened sense of awareness and my sweat glands open. And my brain starts firing on all of its cylinders. And that's definitely necessary if I want to like get a bunch of work done or not necessary to do a workout, but definitely helps with doing workout. And then when I'm in like a social situation, I definitely have like my best conversations when I have a lot of caffeine in me. However, I've noticed if I'm having a really stimulating conversation and I don't have any caffeine, I still have a pretty easy time with it. It's just with caffeine, it's like everything is boosted.
And you bring a higher proportion of the interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If I quit right now, I think it would not be great for my school life.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually started taking a caffeine-free day once a week. This overlaps with my New Year's resolution / really it was just a January resolution, but I'm keeping it because I think it's a good, if very unpleasant idea of taking rest days once a week. And so if I don't have
It's a great
caffeine,
idea.
Yeah, well, don't remind me. So if I don't drink any caffeine on that day, it is easier for me to just kind of not feel like I need to go exercise. But at the same time, I'm doubly miserable because I'm 1, not getting the high from exercise, and 2, also not getting the high from caffeine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still feasible for me. So like I've done that 3 or 4 times now that we're a month into the year. And it's not like I go to bed Saturday night thinking, oh no, a whole 36 hours without coffee or anything. So my relationship is, I find great use in it. I enjoy it very much. I think it is more high-octane brain fuel than opiate for the masses, at least in my case. What about you, Noah?
I mean, y'all are both going to have better answers to that than I will, because I'm pretty much don't drink caffeine of any sort.
No, but see, what makes it interesting to me, though, is that, as I recently learned, you do drink some caffeine. Like you will, as you said, have the occasional energy drink. And also you eat a whole lot of dark chocolate. I learned
That's true.
Spain.
Yeah, I guess dark chocolate does have caffeine in it, and I do love me some dark chocolate.
Yes, because
that's a good point.
Like that kilo bar of dark chocolate over
Yeah.
the span of less than a week.
Kilo as in a kilogram?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I ate like 3 pounds of dark chocolate in like the first week that we were in Spain, and it was pretty great. Yeah, I guess I really love dark chocolate. Just caffeine though. I mean, yeah, you're right. I'll have an energy drink. I'll like have one in my car if I'm going on long road trips, just to be prepared should the occasion arise for like, needing some caffeine. Like I'm getting really tired and there's not a rest stop for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got the benefit in that case too of like, you know, you're like actively doing something. Like I feel like if I'm eating or drinking something, it keeps me awake too. So I don't know how much of it is just that. But I don't know. I mean, I've tried to stay away from having it all the time for no particularly good reason. And I was just going to say that I didn't have any of it until Joshua mentioned dark chocolate. I guess I have quite a bit.
And chocolate protein powder.
And that too. Does that have a whole lot of...
Oh my good lord. I cannot tell you. Oh my gosh. So we're going to have to get into like 3 anecdotes here. So,
nice.
Firstly, my senior year of college for the fall semester, I got this giant tub of mint chocolate isopure protein powder. And I would have that between working out and sprinting off to my psychology class every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this like a month into school, and it lasted me until like 2 weeks before finals. And during that whole time, I would always walk into psychology just feeling like I am become God. Bow down to me. I love everyone and everything. And then I switched to like pure vanilla, and I crashed so hard from
really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think part of it is because it's, you know, liquidated. And so it's a lot stronger than just like regular chocolate, or it maybe absorbs a lot more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, when we were in Spain, Noah, I switched to chocolate protein powder from the banana, and that significantly affected my workout performance for the last week that we were there. Man. Yeah. Maybe I only had 2 anecdotes. That's fine.
Good anecdotes.
That's really interesting.
Thanks. Yeah.
I've never really thought of using caffeine as like a workout supplement either. But that kind of makes sense.
You are probably the only person on the planet who regularly works out who has not thought of caffeine as a workout supplement. But that's great.
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth jumping in and having caffeine every day or not. But it would be interesting to try at the very least. I don't know. We shall see.
Do you think that you'll start drinking coffee or anything now that you're in PA school? Or
I'm gonna really try not to, just because I like to not have my sleep dictated at all by when I've last had coffee to drink. And also, I mean, I've made it this far. I might as well try and make it all the way through a master's program without requiring caffeine. But I mean, you know, we'll see. If I like can't stay awake for some reason, then like I'll probably start drinking coffee or something.
Yeah.
But not like monsters. I think if I drank caffeine regularly, it would not be like it would be like coffee.
Okay.
When you drink energy drinks, what kinds do you drink?
Whatever the gas station has. I literally go in and just snag whatever is there. I guess for a little while I did have. I say for a little while. Most recently, the few times I've had one, it's been like a Red Bull. But I think that's because of like doing Horseshoe Hell and just like literally downing one of those like every couple hours just to stay awake through like 3 solid days.
Yeah.
Which was, I'm sure, not a good thing for my body to do, but it was a really good time.
Nice. Okay. Well, let's move on to my question, if you don't mind, because I'm excited to ask it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Bigger questions.
Okay. So, would you guys rather have all of your dreams be dreams, or have all of your dreams be dreams? Let me elaborate on this. So, would you rather have all of your real life dreams, like all of your aspirations, be dreams as in things that your brain conjures up while you're asleep? Or would you rather have all the things that your brain conjures up while you're asleep be like reality, things that will eventually happen to you?
Oh, man, I don't know. I've had some... Actually, you go ahead. You go ahead if it's your question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather have my sleep dreams be like eventualities dreams, because I mean, yeah, a lot of them are unpleasant to experience, but at the same time, like it would be less hard for me to take a really high dose of just crazy, weird excitement in the everyday life, especially if it was everyday life, like everyone experienced these crazy things and it wasn't just like I was a lunatic. That would be much easier for me to take than just kind of grinding through the rest of my life in the stale pre-taste of what I will never actually achieve.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that, but since the first one involves all of your dreams and aspirations only happening in your dreams, then your real life is none of that.
Yeah. So you've got to pick one or the other.
Interesting.
Neither of those sound incredibly appealing to me.
Well, it's a would you rather question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one has ever been asked a would you rather question and thought like, oh man, those are both such great options. Like no one wants to have their eyeball licked or lick an eyeball.
Yeah.
Oh, I would totally have my eyeball licked.
That is.
I mean, I can do that
Andrew.
for you if you're that excited about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Noah.
I was gonna say, if you lick Andrew's eyeball, make sure and do it right in front of the microphone.
Oh yeah.
That's gross. I was gonna say, originally I was like, oh man, I have some weird dreams sometimes. I don't know if that'd be a good idea, but
how miserable would it be to have none of your dreams come true, right?
yeah, exactly. That sounds utterly miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the dreams are pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't all be bad. I mean, there would be dragons.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, that would be. You have asked a question and I had an answer, and then you immediately changed my mind on it. I would totally go for dreams,
Cool.
like dreams being real over all your aspirations, like never actually happening and just being dreams. That would be so. Yeah, that'd actually be. The more I think about it, that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, you say that, but do you remember the episode of Jimmy Neutron when Carl's having nightmares and Jimmy has to travel into his dream? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's like, he's getting married to a chicken. No, a turkey. Yeah, he's married to a turkey. And then Sheen is the crazy evil headmaster. And then he fights a giant lima bean. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about the giant lima bean.
That was the whole point. It was because like he was having bad dreams because he was eating lima beans. Or because his mom was making him eat lima beans or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
I also had the same thought process as Noah, mostly because I did not comprehend the question for a little while. The thought of having like Horizon Zero Dawn happening in real life is kind of terrifying, but also really cool.
Yeah.
There are also the ones about like, wow, this person has died.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. It was like, that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, and
But-
the teeth falling out dreams.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are really weird. Yeah, it would be. Oh man, it would just be. But if all of it happened all the time, and you're basically talking about a world with like completely different rules of like existence and physics and everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which at least sometimes it would be. Which would be, even if you like it would all together, it'd be a whole different existence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like if your teeth just randomly fall out during a dream, that's like a 30-minute ordeal. But if that's just a regular thing, there's probably a way to put them back in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
I mean, there are dentists because people's teeth fall out now. So,
Yeah. And I don't know, in my imagination, it's not like all of the dreams you've ever had come to pass. It's just like some things happen and it's just kind of a roll of the dice, but there will definitely be something great, something weird, and something terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, does that change your answer?
I mean, no, that makes it much more desirable,
Okay.
honestly.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, like, they couldn't all happen simultaneously. I couldn't be, like, making out with Jennifer Aniston while also being crushed by a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
What a way to go, I guess.
See, it would also induce a lot of anxiety doing that, because I feel like for the most part you would be able to tell if a dream is feasible or not. Like, obviously getting crushed by a T-Rex is not really something that's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
I guess all the mortality dreams. Well, I don't know. You get one, but
I don't know.
still, I would much rather a spectacular death than just forever wasting away in unachieved dreams.
If you have to die one way or the other, which that'd be another thing. You might actually have to die. But if you have to die one way or the other, it might as well be, being crushed by a T-Rex, not just like heart disease or something.
Yeah, I mean, especially
or
if you're
mesothelioma.
Especially if you get to make out with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, that's a plus. That's a
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Noah, would you like to steer us away from this weirdness and ask us our big old question of the day?
Sure. That was a weird question. That was perfect. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. I don't think mine can probably beat that, but I didn't know. Like, there's some thoughts about this that I wanted to throw in there, and I don't know how to put them into the question. So I'm just going to ask the question, and then I'll ramble about it for a second, and y'all can say your thoughts.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
In your answers. Okay, so the question is, do you believe in predetermination? And I mean like everything is already predetermined. You have no actual control. It's just like an experience of having control over your decisions, and everything is actually, all your decisions are already set. There's no actual free will and everything.
As
right?
in destiny, but not just there's this one action you have to complete. It's like,
yeah, not destiny, you were destined to, we're going to go back to the weird dream stuff, but you were destined to slay the mighty dragon or whatever. Literally, if you to go to the weird nerdy physics side of it, if you know all the, initial, all the variables of the initial state of the system, then everything after that is already predetermined. So if you knew everything, every detail about the universe right when it started, you'd know everything that was going to happen afterwards.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. It's not that we're on a path headed in the general direction of someplace. It's that we are on a track.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, a track, not a path.
Cool.
No, I don't believe in it.
Cool.
Well,
okay, so here's my thoughts. I think that there's zero way that we could actually know that. There's absolutely no way. People can theorize about it one way or the other, but there's no way we can know. And also, it would be very damaging to a society to start to think that way. Because, if they're right, then they're right and it's already predetermined, whatever. But if they're not right, then they're basically, think about, psychologically what that would do to people. If it was just, if they all felt certain that everything was already predetermined, they didn't actually have any free will, then, why do anything?
Yeah.
That it completely, messes with the idea of, having any sort of motivation for anything.
Yeah.
Why not go rob that bank?
Yeah, exactly. You're just predetermined to do it. Or why try and do anything because you don't feel like you actually have any hand in it, which is kind of weird. But I feel like it would be a very bad thing to do. And that's kind of the extra part of the question I didn't know how to put in there. But I think it'd be a bad idea to ever assume that we know enough either way, and it'd be an especially bad idea to assume we know enough to say that everything is predetermined. Mm-hmm. And then I think that there's no way we can know. But just opinion-wise and how I feel about it, I agree with Andrew. No! We have free will! Yeah!
Yeah, I don't know. The more that I examine my own life and kind of get inside my own thoughts, the more that I come to the conclusion that I'm never really doing much more than responding to a series of chemical reactions in my brain and around me.
You're bringing up another big old question that I really wanted to throw in there, but I didn't know how to do it.
Save it.
it has to do with like with exactly what you're saying, like the chemical reactions and everything.
Oh, okay. Then I might spoil.
Like
But
do you want me to? I mean, we can revisit it later in like a deeper.
Yeah. We can revisit it later. We can't run out of material. We're only 7 episodes in.
That's true.
Well, 6 if you count the one that was lost.
So go ahead and continue there.
Yeah. Okay. So I think about like, so in the simplest form, you see like a bug walking around in circles on the ground, and you're like, why are you walking around in circles? Like, what is the point of that? But it's just like, maybe it's picking up its own pheromone scent or whatever, or it's just like, hey, I should turn left because straight looks boring, and then straight keeps looking boring, and then it's like, I should turn left, and then straight keeps looking boring, and then it's like, I should turn left. And I find myself not necessarily getting into as simple of spirals, but definitely just reacting to the impulses that I'm receiving from my environment and from my own self. Like, I get up in the morning and the first thing I do is I go work out because I have this internal chemical signal. One, of brain wiring, just it being habit, and 2, the signal of the internal/external signal of you need to do this to be A, healthy, B, attractive, C, happy, all of those things. Mm-hmm. And I don't really feel like there's a choice going into that. And I don't really feel like there's a choice going into a lot of things. Like, even if I think to myself, oh, I'm hungry, I could eat right now. And then I, quote unquote, decide that I'm going to wait. How much of that is a decision and how much of that is just residual brain circuits formed from these impulses that I've received in the past of like, it would be better for you to wait for reasons XYZ, whether that be like you're on a diet or you're not really that hungry or things like that.
But before you stray too far from that, if that is all just, if you can nail it all down to just brain pathways, does that actually make it not a decision? I mean, if it's a decision being made just by neurons and everything, is it any less of a decision?
Well, I mean, you were talking about like if all the starting variables of
yes, I see what you mean. Then like
where all of the molecules in my brain are lined up, like down to the very last atom. When I wake up in the morning, can you predict every single thing that will happen to me that day? Presuming you also know like where all the other atoms in the universe are lined up at that one very instant. Mm-hmm. I think, yes, you could predict that if you had all of those variables. But since that level of knowledge is just so far out of our access, it's kind of pointless to really even like think of free will in such terms. Like, I think the free will is not so much knowing whether or not you could predict what any one person would do, knowing where every molecule in that universe is at any given time, so much as it is if that person is able to cope with that uncertainty or potentially certainty and make something out of it,
Yeah.
And so like, I would say I would not lose my free will until I started believing that I did not have free will. I would not say of myself, I am a will-less creature until I started believing that. Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense?
That's fair. That's an interesting way of thinking of it. Yeah.
Like, as long as you have free will, you effectively have free will because the decisions that you make feel like real decisions.
That's an interesting way of thinking of that. That you like, if you had unlimited knowledge, you could pretty much determine either entirely or at least, to a pretty high level of certainty what any decision was going to be, but that doesn't really apply to us.
So that opens up the question. If you, at the start of the day, like you said, knew locations of everything and all the variables and stuff, it would the true free will would be deciding, okay, I'm going to do something different. Unless I'm hearing you wrong. Like, okay, instead of breathing
yeah, I see what you mean. So like if you knew everything, then free will would be whether or not you can actually decide to do something different.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. Also, this all depends entirely on if you knew. I mean, this is based on the assumption that if you knew all the, like, you know, where everything was, like every single variable, then none of them. Then you could just calculate ahead. That it's not just like a chaotic system that, you know, you can know everything at one particular time, but then you know, like what are they called? Planck seconds, like the smallest unit of time. Like 10 Planck seconds later, you no longer do because there's some, you know, mathematical property of the universe where you can't actually use the prior state to determine future states.
Yeah, and see there, I don't know. I do not know where I come down on that line.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way we can, like, we have no idea on that.
Yeah, the universe is so, like, weirdly weird. That was very eloquent.
Mm-hmm.
That
weirdly weird.
Yeah, that I just feel like there's no way to predict that. Like, you would think that there would not be any smallest unit of time, and yet there is. And you would think that light would not be particles, but yet it is, but yet only sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Good talk, guys.
This is, I have no idea. This has turned into an even weirder question than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is making my brain just kind of go.
I've been trying to formulate my thoughts at the same time I'm listening to you guys' very well constructed thoughts, and I'm like, ugh. Am I the only one who will be just, you know, going through my day and then I suddenly just stop and I'm like, I've not been making any of these decisions. They have just been being made for me.
That's totally what I was talking about earlier. Like,
yeah.
When I get, like this morning, I was halfway through my squats in my workout and I was like, wow, I think my brain just turned on for the first time today.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like there's this thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to probably say something you were going to say. Probably something similar. Like, we have some very just kind of autopilot settings.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the big deal about humans these days is that they're conscious, but
these days
they're not. We are only, I feel like, conscious for about 30 minutes a day.
Okay, I'd be a little more generous than 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like when I'm like writing or translating or something, I feel like I am using full brain power.
But does using full brain power prove your consciousness?
I never said anything about proving consciousness. I just said that, like, I feel like I am in that state of, like, my brain is turned on that I had when I was in the middle of my squats this morning. Like, that occurs throughout the duration of really engaging tasks like that.
Well, but in that case, it is not... Going back to the original question, it's not necessarily your free will. It is just those, in my opinion, 30 minutes where your consciousness is turned on is where you're actually like, okay, this decision cannot be automatically made because one set of factors dramatically outweighs the other. You know, it's like if you're writing, there might be moments where you're thinking, okay, so I could take this character this way and he'll completely impact the story differently than if I killed him off right now. But if I killed him off right now, there are all of these awesome other things that could happen. But for a lot of those times when you're writing, you're just thinking, okay, I could kill him off right now. He would die, and he would have like ripple effects, but he's not going to be a huge plot point. Or I could carry him on and make him improve this book. You know, you're obviously going to choose improve this book over die off and have ripple effects.
So it's just like the moments when the choice is not super obvious for you, you count that as like not conscious?
As being conscious is when it's not super obvious. Because like I can't imagine an Andrew who sees this gas tank is almost empty and goes, wow, you know what? I'm just going to let it run out.
Okay, I don't know. I kind of disagree with
That's
that
fair.
as the definition of consciousness. Like, I think when Riley hears the word golf cart ride, the words golf cart ride, it's just like, it is unfathomable. She could not even imagine not imagining a world in which she would not just like jump up and go, oh my gosh, golf cart ride.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, she just can't imagine. Does that make any sense?
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But, okay, this is getting hard not to divide into like subcategories of consciousness, but it's like you have decision-making consciousness and imagination consciousness. And the imagination consciousness is a little less free-willed than the decision-making consciousness because you have like the thoughts before influencing the thoughts ahead. It's not necessarily these two conflicting things just happened. Now I have to decide what to do. You know?
That's interesting, because there definitely are times when I'm just like, something will pop into my imagination and I'm just like, wow, that thought did not come from my brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like when you're like when we went up onto Bristol Head and I was just like, you know, I bet I could jump off of here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, you know, there's actually a term for that.
oh
it's,
yeah, I know. I saw.
It's like unwelcome thoughts or something. There's a better term for it than that, but
yeah.
But whenever you're like, you know, like I could just like, you know, drive over all these telephone poles real fast.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you know, I'm not going to do that, but it just like pops into your head.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well.
That was a good question.
Yeah, I think that we should stop before we get even more existential.
Yeah, we just went. That was a good train wreck of a conversation right there.
Well, that's for all the credits, guys. Let's stop thinking about this. This podcast is created by the three of us, written by none of us, and edited and produced by me, Joshua.
Or is it just consciousness? Or a
hopefully
lack
it's also listened to
Joshua.
and enjoyed by you, but no pressure, hey. Join us next time as we unravel more of the world's big questions, or maybe just get tangled up in them. We'll see how things go when we get there. Love, thanks, and T-Rex hugs from all of us. We couldn't have done this without you. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.